Welcome to my channel. You're not just a viewer, you're the reason we're here. If everyone who watches subscribes, we'll build an awesome community. Your support drives us, without it we're nothing. So hit subscribe, and let's make something incredible together. Thank you, let's dive in. The air in Seoul hums with the quiet buzz of a city winding down. It's 2010, and the streets glow with soft neon lights as an old man steps off a plane, his hands trembling not from age, but from something deeper. Hope maybe, or fear. Suleiman, now in his late 70s, clutches a faded photograph of a little girl with wide eyes and a shy smile. Her name is Ayla, a name he gave her under the moonlight in a war-torn land. For 50 years he's carried her memory like a stone in his chest, a promise he couldn't keep, until now. Korean and Turkish journalists swarm around him, their cameras flashing, their voices gentle but insistent. They've tracked her down, they say. Kim Yoonja they call her now, but to Suleiman she'll always be Ayla. As he shuffles toward the meeting room they've arranged, his mind drifts back to 1950, to a time when the world was louder, sharper, and soaked in blood. He doesn't know it yet, but this is the end of a story that began with a butterfly, a bomb, and a little girl who changed his life. Suleiman's boots crunch on the gravel outside his Istanbul home. It's 2009, a year before Seoul, and the night is thick with the rumble of an earthquake. Nimit, his wife of decades, tugs at his arm, begging him not to go inside. It's not safe, she whispers, her voice worn but steady. He doesn't listen. He never does when it comes to Ayla. Inside, the walls groan, but he finds what he's looking for. A box of old photos, yellowed and curling at the edges. He pulls out the one of him, and Ayla, her tiny hand in his, her face lit by a smile he hasn't seen since the war. He sits there, the earth trembling beneath him, and remembers. It's not the medals or the battles that haunt him. It's her. The girl he found in the forest, the one he swore to protect. Nimit kneels beside him, her gray hair catching the dim light. She doesn't ask questions anymore. She knows this ritual, his quiet obsession, his endless search. Their children call it madness, but Nimit understands. She's held him through the nightmares, read the letters he wrote to Ayla that never found an address. As the shaking stops, Suleiman stares at the photo and whispers, "I'm sorry." It's a prayer, a plea, a promise he's repeated for 50 years. He doesn't know that hope is coming, that journalists are already digging through records, piecing together a story that will bring him back to her. For now, he's just an old soldier lost in the past. Flashback to 1950 South Korea. The sky is gray, heavy with smoke and the promise of death. Suleiman is 22, a Turkish soldier with a rifle slung over his shoulder and a heart still soft enough to ache. He's crouched in a forest near Kanuri, his breath fogging in the cold, when he hears it, a rustling faint but alive. His unit is on edge, reeling from an ambush that nearly killed them. The jeep's wreckage still smolders behind them, and Colonel Silo's voice is sharp in his ears. Keep moving. But Suleiman stops. He pushes through the trees, past the scattered corpses of soldiers and villagers, until he sees her. A little girl, no more than 6, cradles her mother's lifeless body. Her dark hair is matted with dirt, her eyes wide with a grief too big for her small frame. Suleiman kneels, his hands shaking as he reaches out. "Hey," he says softly, his Turkish words useless to her. She doesn't flinch, just stares, and something in her gaze hooks into him, pulling tight. Back at camp, he can't let her go. The others, Ali with his quick grin, Masoud with his gruff doubts, watch as he lifts her onto his shoulder. "We can't leave her," he says, and they don't argue. Ali suggests a name, something simple, since they can't ask hers. Ayla, Suleiman says, thinking of the moonlight spilling through the trees when he found her. It fits. She clings to him, silent but fierce, and he feels it then. A tether forming, a duty he didn't ask for but can't shake. Rewind a few days. Seol, that's her name then, chases a butterfly through her village in South Korea. The sun is warm, the air sweet with summer, and her laughter dances on the breeze. She's too young to know about war, too small to understand the shadows creeping closer. Her father watches her from the porch, smiling while her mother hums a song nearby. It's a perfect moment, fragile as glass. Then the explosion comes. The ground splits, the sky roars, and the butterfly vanishes in a cloud of dust. Seol freezes, her ears ringing as screams replace the quiet. Her father runs toward the soldiers pouring into the village, shouting for them to stop. Her mother follows, yelling for Seol to hide. But she doesn't. She stands there rooted as fire swallows her world. When the smoke clears, she's alone. Everyone gone, everything ash. Suleiman doesn't know this yet. He's still in Turkey, laughing with Ali and Pepe Maharam over a meal, promising Nurian he'll come back safe. But fate is already pulling him toward her, toward the girl who will become Ayla, toward a war that will bind them together. Back in Turkey before the forest, before Ayla, Süleyman pedals his bicycle through Ankara's dusty streets. Ali rings the bell behind him, shouting, "Hurry up." Süleyman grins, stepping onto his balcony to toss a playful insult down. They're young, carefree college boys with no idea what's coming. He feeds the dogs outside, brushes his hair, too long, picks a shirt Nurian likes. Across the alley, Seal, "No, she's not here yet." Nurian waves her voice, carrying a warning about Süleyman's rowdy friends. The boys bike to the military command, their laughter fading when Major Iskenderun calls them in. "Ankara's sending a battalion to South Korea," he says. "UN reinforcements. You're going." Süleyman's stomach drops, but he nods. At dinner, Ilan teases his fighting skills, Pepe defends him, and the tension simmers until Süleyman asks them to tell Nurian he'll be okay. That night he holds her close, her orphan's heart trembling against his. "I'll come back," he promises, and she believes him because she has to. Nimit, his little cousin, reads the telegram the next day, her eyes wide with worry. She prays for him, a quiet girl who'll one day become his rock. Süleyman writes letters. Long ones to his family, short ones to his friends, a tender one to Nurian. He boards the ship with the Americans, joking with Lieutenant Masoud about diesel, and ants his optimism, a shield against the unknown. South Korea waits, and with it a little girl he doesn't yet know he'll find. Fast forward to South Korea after the forest. The locals cheer as Süleyman's unit arrives, their warmth a brief balm against the cold reality of war. Major Fyut briefs them. North Koreans pushed back, but Kanuri's the final stand. Ali and Masoud bicker, patriotism versus loyalty, but Süleyman quiets them. "We're good at this," he says, and they believe him. Then the ambush hits. Headlights flare, North Korean guns blaze, and the jeep explodes. Süleyman pulls them out, heart pounding, as Ali fires back, laughing about communist friends. They stumble through the forest, find Ayla, and keep moving. In Turkey, Nimit feels a jolt, a shiver she can't explain, while Nurhan sips coffee with Isil, dreaming of Süleyman's proposal. They don't know he's fighting for his life, and hers. At Unhung-Ni, the American commander grimly announces the Chinese are joining the fight. Captain Cage and Lieutenant Lee guide them, praising the Turks' grit. Ayla sticks to Süleyman, her small hand in his, as he fixes Seal's jeep. A sniper's bullet cuts the air, a South Korean falls, and Süleyman shields her, tossing a gasoline bomb to buy time. Masoud's team saves them, but a blade finds Süleyman's side. He collapses Ayla's face, the last thing he sees before darkness. Süleyman wakes to Ayla's grip, her silent love a lifeline. He's weak, bandaged, but alive. Masoud teases him, Lee negotiates to keep her at base, and Fyut warns against attachment. "She's not yours," he says, but Süleyman doesn't listen. At the medal ceremony, Ayla runs to him, her hug a defiance of orders. The captain grins, granting her stay, and Süleyman dresses her in gifts from home. A dress, boots, a piece of Turkey in this foreign land. They teach her words, show her movies, laugh at her chatter. She's their light, a spark in the gray. When she cries over a rumor of his death, he soothes her, promising he's not the sultan she fears for. They take her to Japan, a fleeting escape, and Süleyman feels the weight of fatherhood settle on him. Süleyman's vacation ends with a heavy heart, and now it's time to return to base. There, Sadiq greets him with news. "We might have found Ayla's family." He hands Süleyman a note in Korean and an address explaining their plan to reunite her. Süleyman's gut twists. He tells Sadiq, "Don't drag Ali into this." Later he sits with Ayla, her small hands unfolding the note as she reads it aloud, her voice soft but sure. That night Süleyman slips out, leaving Ayla with his radio to keep her occupied. At the address, danger strikes. A North Korean bandit ambushes him, fist swinging. Meanwhile, Ayla, sensing trouble, teams up with Ali. They race on Sadiq's bicycle, her tiny legs pedaling hard. They find him just as Ali and Sadiq burst in, scattering the attackers. The three stumble back to base, safe under the cover of night, before Colonel Fyut catches wind of it. Days later, Ali's face lights up. Marilyn Monroe's in town to cheer the troops. A mission looms, but his buddies promise a signed photo. Ayla, quick and clever, helps Süleyman charm one out, complete with a kiss mark. Ali beams, clutching it like a treasure. But war doesn't care for dreams. In combat, a bullet steals him away, the photo still in his grip. Süleyman crumbles, Ayla's arms wrapping around him as he fights tears. She's too young to carry his grief, but she tries. A year rolls by. Fyut announces they're heading home, new troops stepping in. Süleyman's heart rebels. He can't leave Ayla. He volunteers to stay, scribbling a letter to Nurhan back in Turkey, pouring out his torn feelings. But soon Commander Tselal calls him in. A ship's leaving. You're on it, he says. Fuad adds, the orphanage in Suwon's set. Isla's going there. Suleiman's chest tightens. He's losing her all over again. At the Ankara school, he drops her off, but the goodbye chokes him. Desperate, he hides Isla in his suitcase, dreaming of smuggling her to Turkey. He glides past security, hope flickering, until the boarding gate. Officers stop him, unzip the bag, and there she is curled up inside. His plan shatters, but his record saves him from court-martial. I'll come back, he whispers, her dark eyes burning into his memory as he boards alone. Back in Turkey, Iqbal and her fiancé welcome him, but Nurin's absence hits hard. She's engaged, they say. Stunned, Suleiman finds her. You chose Isla over me, she snaps, her words sharp. Fury takes over. He wires money, heads to Mara's, and marries Nimet, a woman his parents picked. 5 months later, they're in Istanbul, but Isla's shadow lingers. Nimet sees it, embraces it, vowing to help find her. Embassy calls pile up. Nothing but dead ends. 5 decades pass. An earthquake jolts Suleiman awake, old and frail now. He pulls out a photo of Isla, the edges worn from years of touch. Nimet steadies him, ever loyal, though their kids don't get his fixation. Korean news flickers on TV, his last lifeline, until a call breaks through. A South Korean journalist, moved by tales of Turkish soldiers, wants to tell Isla's story. Teams scour records, find her orphanage friends, and track her down. Kim Yoonja alive in Seoul. Seoul hums with life. Suleiman steps forward, his old soldier's frame trembling. She's there, Isla grown but still his. Her arms find him, and they hold tight, tears washing away 50 years of ache. The promise he carried like a stone lifts at last. Nimet watches her quiet love complete. Thank you for watching.